Good afternoon. I call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone to the March 13, 2014 meeting of the City County Planning Board. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Today's meeting is being broadcast live by TV 13. It will be rebroadcast at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning and again at 4 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Our first order of business today is the consent agenda. These are items for which the petitioner is requesting withdrawal or continuance, or items for which staff has recommended approval and no one is signed up to speak in opposition. For our public hearings today, each side will have a total of 12 minutes. We'll skip some of this because I think all we got is one planning board review and a couple area plans. So most of the items under section B of the agenda require final approval by city council or county commissioners. We do have an exception today that we do have a planning board review item which will be final approval is here. For the other items, votes taken today by the planning boards are votes that go to the elected bodies for their consideration. Anyone addressing the board today, before you begin your comments, we need your name, address, and zip code for the record. First item of business is the approval of the minutes of the February 18, 24, and 27 meetings. Are there any additions, corrections to those minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wilkins, second Ms. Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Now call on Aaron King to present our consent agenda.
Bear with me for 1 second here.
It's evident you wasn't an Eagle Scout.
While he's doing that, I see that Mayor Pro Tem Burke has joined us today. Welcome. Nice to have you with us. Thank you.
And thank you all for your service.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
We do have 2 items for you on the consent agenda this afternoon. The first one is item B1. It's zoning docket W2836, and this is a final development plan for a hotel in a GBS 2-phase zoning district. This site is located south of Haynes-Mall Boulevard and east of Creekshire Way. Give you a snapshot of the site plan there. You can see towards the southern portion of the site there is an existing hotel there now. This proposed addition or proposed new building would have 91 rooms in it. It's located on the north side of Marriott Crossing Way. Staff has reviewed this, and we do recommend approval of this final development plan.
Okay. Anyone here opposed to this recommendation? Seeing none, we declare the public hearing closed. What's the wishes?
I just have one
Sure.
question of the petitioner on this, if I could, about the parking. Staff had a concern about traffic calming and the back out parking, and I think this is also a cut through for going to Costco, if I'm not incorrect. So there's a fair amount of traffic. So if you could just address that and how I always think it's important to prevent accidents from happening, but I'd just like to hear your thoughts on their concerns.
Yep. My name is Luke Dickey with Stimmel Associates. Address is 601 North Trade Street, Suite 200, Winston-Salem, 27101. We prepared a site plan of this, and to address that question, what you're talking about is the parking, of course, that is on Marriott Crossing Way. As you can see on one side, the existing hotel already has existing 90-degree parking that is there. The proposed petitioner wanted to do the same thing with their hotel as well, to mimic that, so there's 90-degree parking on that side shown along the way there. Understand the concerns about the traffic backing out into that basically private drive, and then any concerns there with that. This is would be kind of a cut through, I guess you could say, from a development from the Costco coming into the shops at Little Creek. But with the existing 90-degree parking there, the client wanted to go ahead and mimic that as well, what's existing out there. We can always go back and ask them if there's an issue with it where we can change it to angled parking for where their new parking is, but at this point, we'll still have that existing 90-degree spaces out on the site. So we'll still have that existing condition that we have to deal with traffic backing in and out. We are pretty tight on the parking. The total of 91 rooms in the hotel, we've got roughly, I think, 87, so you usually want one space per unit. And so, if we go to angled, they might end up losing some spaces. So consideration could be, since it is a private drive, putting some speed bumps that slow the traffic down on either end. We'd definitely be happy to talk to the petitioner on that item if that would be something that they would consider.
And I say thank you for, taking this into consideration.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Move approval.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Morgan, second, Mr. Lamb. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
The next item is item B2, is zoning docket W3212. And this is a request to rezone about 12 acres from RS9 to RM12L. This is located on it's east of University Parkway and on the south side of Noel Drive. It's just north of the Walmart store there on Haynes Mill Road. This site, the petitioner has requested a continuance for this request to the April meeting. They submitted this by our automatic continuance deadline, so the request will be automatically continued to your April meeting, but just wanted to mention it for the agenda.
I have a question on that. I know staff had already issued the report, though, and they did not recommend approval of this. And I guess there's concerns about the site plan. The continuance, is there a consideration for them to come back with special use with a site plan?
We received their request this week, and they'll be coming back to you with an RM8S request that would be a different district, and they would have a site plan included with that.
All right. How about fees on that? Are they going to have a full additional fees, or is there some way to just? If they're sort of doing that at our request, somewhat, I guess. Is there any consideration of what we could do on that? And they haven't asked me, so I don't know.
I believe we did have an additional fee that they had to submit. The way our fee chart is based is on acreages, so special use zoning, depending on which acreage category it fell in. I believe the additional acreage plus the way our fee chart is designed, general uses, a set of range, limited use, and then special use. So special use is always more than...
Well, I understand that, but are they just going to pay the difference, or they have to pay a whole new fee? I guess what I'm asking.
Just the difference.
Just the difference.
Just the difference. Okay, that's all.
Yeah, it wasn't a brand new submittal
Yeah.
fee. It was just the difference.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
I think that
That,
gets us through the, at least the zoning-related items on the agenda, so that brings us to the public hearing on the North Suburban Area Plan. And Steve Smotherman will give a presentation prior to opening up the public hearing on it.
okay.
Good afternoon, Commission members. This is about the North Suburban Plan. I want to first mention about the community participation. We had 3 community meetings and then a final drop-in session. The initial kickoff session, there were about 30 to 35 people there. The 2 following meetings had about 15 people on average, and the final drop-in session had about 10 to 15 people arrive. You can see it's in with Star, that's the area, North Suburban. It's also being done in conjunction with, you see the area of the Walkertown area plan you're going to hear next, and then coming later this fiscal year will be the South Central area. Existing land use, primary land uses are single-family residential at 33%, undeveloped land at 23%, institutional uses occupy 8% of the land, industrial 9%, and multifamily 4%. I do want to add that although multifamily takes up only 4% of the land right now, it does encompass about almost half of the existing residences in that area. So it does have a lot of multifamily use. Existing land use, you can see in the southern half, particularly in the southeast, the lower right corner has there's Whitaker Park, the Reynolds Tobacco Complex. and other industrial uses along Indiana Avenue. Further north, you see the large purple area, which is the landfill, and over to the east, which is the quarry off of Germantown Road. You can see a lot of the white areas, which is currently vacant land. And I've listed some of the street names to give you some bearings. Now we'll look at the proposed, and you can see that it's pretty similar to the existing, except a lot of that white area has been filled in with yellow, which is low-density residential. So again, this is a situation where I would say 99% of the land use is remaining the same, and that we're suggesting changes to about 1%. A lot of it's different because this was one of the earlier plans that had designations for conservation subdivisions and for traditional neighborhood development, which as we got further along in the area plan process, we revised that to reflect low-density residential and moderate-density mixed-use development. Original plan had 6 activity centers. It had the 2 activity centers here you see on the slide, University and Haynes Mill Road, University Parkway, and also Renolda Road and Farallon. There were 4 additional neighborhood activity centers that we have removed because we don't feel they really fit the definition of an activity center as far as integrating surrounding residences. So we're just limited to 2. And both of these have been reduced in size a little bit. You can see the areas bounded in black. This area has been reduced in area from the north and the west a little bit. But other than that, it reflects what is there today. And the Renolda Fairlawn has been reduced. The area that's in yellow and pink to the lower right along Fairlawn has been removed. This reflects primarily the retail uses along Renolda Road, which also goes on the other side of Renolda Road, which is in the West Suburban Area Plan. And it also includes areas along Woods Road, which has a multifamily development. There's one other area I want to mention that there were done some change. This is the Chatillon Drive Murray Road intersection. This was one of the neighborhood activity centers. If you look at the red, there's a shopping center at the northwest corner, which is currently occupied by Food Line and nobody else. I don't know the reason for that, but there's also existing retail use on the northeast corner. If you look, this area that I'm highlighting with the arrow, sort of a Z-shaped lot, is presently zoned residential multifamily 12. It is bordered by a manufactured home park to the north and to the west. So we're showing the additional area between that parcel and Chatillon Road for intermediate density residential, which will allow for apartments. There are 2 parcels also here next to the retail that are already zoned residential multifamily 12. Now you see the yellow area immediately north of that has 4 single-family residences, and we're certainly not opposed to that becoming rezoned for multifamily use, but we're putting a condition on it for all those lots to come in at one time for rezoning rather than doing a intermittent one single-family home coming in, the others being there next to it. To the south and east along Murray Road and Chatillon is proposed for low density. Let me go back here, hold on. Low density attached residential. There we go. That's this area right in here. It was originally proposed for multifamily, for intermediate density, but some of the citizens were concerned about the traffic impact, particularly along Chatillon and that area where particularly during peak hours, where you have Beck's Church Road feeding into Murray and Chatillon, that gets kind of congested. And we did some calculations and realized that if all of this were to develop for multifamily, it would be right at the capacity of Chatillon Road. So we backed off on that to a new category called low density attached residential, which is single-family homes up to 8 dwelling units per acre, but they can be attached. So it's essentially a townhome designation. So that's what we're showing for that. There are 3 special land use condition areas. Those are where there's about 25 in the entire study area, but those deal with grandfathered uses or an isolated store at the corner in a predominantly residential area, how to deal with those in the future. There are 3 of those that I want to highlight today. They are the Upper University Parkway area north of the Activity Center, the corner of University Parkway and Home Road, and Renolda Road and Woodbury Drive. Got a very sensitive button today, excuse me. The Upper University Parkway, the area again north of the Activity Center. In the previous plan, it was shown all for office, but since the west side is shown as a mixture of gas stations and existing retail uses, we're showing the west side, or excuse me, the east side of University Parkway for low-intensity commercial use. And then the west side, that's in the pink, is being shown for home office conversion, and that's primarily due to the small depth of the lots that are along that stretch of University Parkway. The second area is the shopping center at the corner of University Parkway and Home Road. It looked by design like there used to be a Kroger or grocery store in there, but their grocery store or sub-brand, I think, is presently vacant. And this whole study area probably has a little excess retail in it from over the years. But what we're showing this for a mixed-use area, and the reason for that is that obviously it can remain, is zoned for a shopping center, it can remain as such, but we're saying if somebody's interested in trying to do a mixed use, perhaps with out parcels along the frontage and some multifamily behind it, we would certainly entertain that. So I wanted to point that out. The final area is a recent change we just became aware of that is near Wake Forest. This is part of the Wake Forest and its entrance off of Silas Creek Parkway. And the Methodist Church is to the north. There are 3 parcels in here in the circle. 2 of them are owned by the church, and we're going to show those. These all 3 previously were shown for low-density single-family use. We're going to show the 2 owned by the church for institutional use, and the remaining property for office conversion. There's existing homeowner. Also, there's office entirely along the west side of this stretch of Renolda Road. As far as transportation, there are no immediate projects. The nearest term ones I can think of would be a portion of the eastern eastern portion of the northern beltway, which may happen in the next 10 to 15 years. There is another one, which I don't know how well you can see, long-term, which I think would be important, is calls for the realignment of Motor Road at Indiana Avenue to realign so that it will intersect opposite of North Point Boulevard, and will give you a longer sort of interconnector because Motor Road, since they built the section now, connects into Carver School Road. So it provides a portion of the interconnector. Community facilities, there's one major project, and that's a greenway. Be a portion of the Mill Creek Greenway, which will be constructed in the next, it's in phase 2 of their tier of construction timing, which means it'll be built in sometime between the next 7 and 15 years, and it's scheduled to go from Bethabra, let me go back, from Bethabra here along Mill Creek up through North Forsyth High School and stop at West Haynes Mill Road. And then as far as historic resources, this area has a lot of historic districts, the Bethabra and Bethania, and there's also Bethania Freedmen's Community, the Sprinkle Family Rural Farm, and then the Oak Crest District. And finally, there is presently going on, and there'll be a presentation tomorrow. Charrettes being done by the Center for Creative Economy. They are being funded by Piedmont Together, and they're looking at, sort of doing charrette, looking at what are some ways to improve land use or retail uses around the Cherry Street and Polo Road intersection. There we go. So, and they have been working with residents of the area last week, and they're going to do their presentation last Friday, but got snowed out, and so they're doing their presentation tomorrow. So, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have about the area plan.
Any questions, comments right now? Okay. This is a public hearing, so does anyone would like to speak concerning the area plan? If not, I guess you did a good job.
Can I ask, Steve, I have a question on the Wake Forest study on bike pedestrian. Is that in this plan, or is that just south of it? Because I'm just wondering how it's referenced and incorporated in.
It is incorporated. I didn't mention it, but let me get to it.
I was trying to catch it. I should have done my known that ahead of time.
You can see that it goes up to, at least I know some of the improvements are on Polo Road, and up to 52. It does include a large area, but I know there's some improvements. It is mostly, it's partly out of this area plan, but mostly in it. So it is referenced to the plan, if need be, if we can include the report as an appendix.
Okay, thank you.
And Steve, I had two questions as well. The first was really a question of, is this something that we're concerned about? And that is 4% for existing land use was for multifamily. However, 50% of the residents live in multifamily. Is that a good thing? Is that something that concerns us? Or is that something we'd like to encourage more of in other areas?
It's something we want to encourage more of in other areas.
Okay.
What I didn't say is this area probably has its fair share of multifamily. We showed that one area at Murray and Shadow Lawn for but that is the only area that we're showing for additional multifamily use, and that's because part of that was already zoned for that and was bordered by manufactured housing.
And my second question was about that particular area, so I'm glad you mentioned that. The 4 lots, if you will, are they occupied now by single family, or they're just zoned for single family?
Just the one large lot is
Okay.
zoned for multifamily. Yeah. Happy mouse here. Okay. Just this piece, this parcel, and then there are a couple parcels right here on the front of the shadow on that zone.
Yeah, I guess I was talking about the ones inside the blue line. I guess there are 4 on the right. Yeah.
All that is zoned RS9 right now.
But they're not occupied.
They are occupied.
They are occupied.
They are.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
There are three, I believe there are 3 homes, could be 4 single-family homes. And that's why we didn't go ahead and show that for multifamily at this time. But if they all wanted to go in together and get all their property rezoned at one time, we certainly, we'd be hard-pressed to say no because it's surrounded by it.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Anyone care to make a motion? Move for approval.
Second?
Motion, Mr. Morgan, second, Ms. Mitchell. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
I just want to
That's
say thank
unanimous.
you to the staff and everybody who participated in this, because it's so important, so thank you.
Okay. I guess we talk about Walkertown now, all right? And Paul, I believe this, we're just talking about the county portion, or do you want to explain that?
Yes, we'll get into that. The Walkertown plan, as you know, original one was done about 10 years ago, And actually, the majority of the land area in the Walkertown area plan is in the county zoning jurisdiction. But of course, most of the activity is in the town of Walkertown. So this is sort of a multi-jurisdictional process. And Marilyn is going to give you a presentation on both the plan as well as the process that led up to this. But what you are reviewing is the county jurisdiction portion, which would then go to the county commissioners. And the Walkertown within the town borders has been reviewed by their planning board and is currently under consideration by their town council. They had a public hearing and actually were thinking about taking action at their last meeting, but they have continued that for additional discussion until a meeting that they will have later on this month. So they had their hearing a couple weeks ago was already in place there when we were scheduling this with you all. So, Marilyn, if you'll go ahead and brief
Good
them on it.
afternoon, board members. We had a very active participation in this plan. In fact, a lot of the people who attended were people who participated in the 2006 plan, which I worked on too, so I was very familiar with a lot of them. We had like 3 community meetings. We had a drop-in session, and then we had a work session with the combined planning board and the town council, and we followed that with a public hearing by the planning board on February the 4th. And as Paul said, the first part of the public hearing on the town council was on the 27th of February, and then this continued to March the 27th. In most cases, we had like from about 25 to 35 people attending. Very good attendance and a lot of comments. Major concern in the area was with respect to traffic at 158 and 66. That seemed really important to folks. This map shows here the boundaries of the planning area. The gray area is the area that's in the town, and the green area is the area in the county. About half the population lives in the town and half in the county. Map shows the existing land use. The white areas are undeveloped areas. As you see, there is quite a lot of undeveloped area, about 27%, about 18% in agriculture, which is the green area, and nearly all the non-residential development is located along NC 66 and at the intersection of NC 66 and US 158. Very little office use. Quite a bit of institutional use, shown in blue on the map, which is mostly in the town center. Proposed land use. The proposals show that the majority of the area will remain in single-family or low or large lot residential and agricultural use. And I will show those areas in more detail. And most of the non-residential development will continue on NC 66 and US 158. Residential use. The large lot residential area is mostly in the northern part of the area, shown in light yellow, and there's no SOA in this area, so we don't expect much change in that area, and all of that area is in the county. The single-family residential areas, which are areas for detached single-family dwellings, and shown in dark yellow, half of that area is in the county and half of it is in the town. And most of it is already zoned for single-family detached residential use. Low-density attached residential use, we have identified a few sites, mostly in the activity centers, including the town center, and sites again along NC 66 and US 158, shown by the black stars. And those are the only areas where we have proposed sort of attached units. But the density would vary from up to 8 dwelling units per acre. Proposed activity centers, there are 3 activity centers. We have the Town Center, and US 158 NC 66 Activity Center, and Old Blues Creek Activity Center. These activity centers were in the 2006 plan. We had one other activity center which was located in the west part, which we removed from the plan. So, and we in fact decreased the size of the NC 166 158 Activity Center and the Old Blues Creek Activity Center. But there was a lot of land in those activity centers, and very little development has taken place between 2006 and now. So there's a lot of vacant land at those activity centers. The proposed town center map here shows the town center. Most of this is in the town, but the large area of blue, which are the schools, some of that land is in the county. Most debate took place over the US 158 NC 66 Activity Center. Most of the activity center is in fact in the town, but the boundaries are shown on black on the map. But Site 1 is in the county, and that site we have designated for low-density attached residential use. Sites 2, 3, and 4 are all within the town, and we have a combination there of intermediate density, somewhat higher density, up to 18 dwelling units per acre, commercial and mixed use. Site 5, which is just below the proposed activity center, south of it, and west of a special use site E, which is in fact a sort of auto junk yard. That site was proposed for low-density attached residential use. At the Walkertown Planning Board recommended at its public hearing that a part of that site, which is really sited 5100 Reedsville Road, be considered for commercial use because of its location next to Site E. Most of that site is in the town, 6.4 acres. The rest of it is in the county. A small portion of it is in the county. And this recommendation was sent to the town council, but no decision has been taken as yet on the change in land use. That was the only change recommended by the town planning board, town's planning board. The Old Blues Creek Activity Center. This activity center is the only one that's located totally in the county, and it was in the last plan, the 2006 plan, and its development was considered sort of longer term after the construction of the southern, it's south of the Beltway, after the construction of the Beltway. We reduced the size of this activity center. It was previously about 65 acres, and we reduced it to 50 acres. And we have proposed commercial use immediately south of the proposed Beltway, Site 1. And Site 2, we have proposed some low-density attached residential use. And then in Site 3, a mixture of uses. We have not defined what the mix of use is, and we expect that this will only, we can probably see some activity in this area after completion of construction. We don't know what is the completion date. We know that the start date is 2015. However, at this point in time, the Beltway proposals or scheduling, the Beltway will reach to this point, and there's no schedule beyond for the stretch beyond Reedsville Road. So we don't know when the rest of it will be completed, and that was some area of concern for residents as to what will happen beyond this point. But we are not in a position to provide this information at this time. Other recommendations, historic resources were identified. 8 major sites located both within the town center and within the county itself, and with an emphasis on needing to retain significant farm areas as well as buildings. Park and Greenway recommendations were made. These are similar to the recommendations in the 2006 plan. There are many creeks in the area, but no greenways. It was proposed that feasibility studies be done along the existing creeks to determine what was feasible, and that has not been done as yet. And it was suggested the Lorry Mill Creek be the priority because that area is an area that would, in fact, service more developed areas. Also, some expansion of park areas, especially residents requested the need for more soccer fields in the area, and so we added that to the plan. Basically, that's the main recommendations with respect to community facilities. The transportation improvement projects, there are 3 major projects in the area. Construction of the Beltway, which we mentioned. Then improvements to NC 66 and the intersection there with 158. It's expected that that would be completed in 2015. Design work is ongoing now, and it is expected that we'd have work commencing on that soon. And then widening of 158, which is a project that has been on the books for some time. It is estimated that acquisition will begin in 2018. No completion date, but it is projected sometime after 2020. So those are the major projects, transportation projects that are proposed in the area. And basically that concludes the main recommendations. Most of the Greenway projects are, in fact, in both the county and the town. The Greenways pass through county areas. The transportation improvement projects, both in county and the town. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Any questions at this time? Unless Fran wants to speak, I don't know who's going to speak. This is a public hearing. Anyone like to speak on the area plan? Seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. One question I think I'd like to suggest, there's that 8 acres there that's part in the county and part in the town, and their planning board recommended a change. I guess, do we want to endorse or support their recommendation for that part that's in the county as part of our recommendation here?
Well, and we don't know yet what the town council is going to say on that. And
okay.
again, ideally, we were hoping the council would have taken action before you had it, but we already have this scheduled. So, one option is for you to wait to see what the council does with it.
I don't think it's probably that important.
If I could,
Sure.
I had a couple of hours ago, I had a phone call from a member of the Walkertown Council. And I was at a disadvantage because I was in an area where I didn't have really good cell reception. Obviously, it seems that there are several concerns with the area plan, including some concerns with the activity centers. I'm unclear again because I was having trouble with cell reception. I did request that the concerns be emailed to me so that I could forward them to staff. I haven't gotten that email yet. So I was wondering if there's any chance of moving this to work session until maybe I can get these questions to the staff to...
Sure, fine with me. I mean,
Making that as a motion?
I'm sorry?
Are you making that as a motion?
I guess I am. I'm not always perfectly good on protocol. I would like to make a motion that we move
continue this to our work session.
to work session, yes.
Okay, second by Mr. Lamb. Any discussion? Paul, is that fine?
Yeah, there's really no rush to get this there, and we weren't going to send it to the county commissioners anyway until the town council took action on
Yeah,
it. So,
okay.
so this shouldn't be a problem.
Will our work session be before? Yeah,
It's the same day.
so why don't we just continue for a month then? Is that?
Yeah.
You could.
You could continue to our next month.
I'll amend my motion.
I don't know if I want to amend my second.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, if Barry gets those questions before the work session, we can give you a little update
Right.
on it then, but just not take final action until your first meeting in April.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to continue this for a month. All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, committee reports.
Aaron, do we
Have any?
We know anything about text amendment team?
We didn't meet.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
good report. Staff report.
Okay, well, it looks like our agendas are going to heat up a little bit for next month. We have two cases that were continued that will be coming back next month, one from last month and one from this agenda that is continued to the next meeting. And we have 6 new cases that came in for our deadline, and they are all in the city and county jurisdiction, so will be actually one county case among them. We'll also have 2 planning board reviews and that minor subdivision exception that's been on your agenda and been continued
Off
to
and
come
on for
time.
years.
So we should have a pretty full plate next time, and so we'll probably have a lot of cases to get out and see during sign check too. So just wanted to give you a heads up about that. As you probably saw in the newspaper, the county commissioners approved the cell tower ordinance. They approved the planning board's version of it. So we have the city council version applying to the city limits, and then the county version applying to the county. I believe what the petitioners are going to do is they're going to be approaching some of the towns that have their own zoning jurisdiction now, hoping to get some consistency of some type in there. The solar farm amendment passed the county, and it is now going to head to the city council for consideration there too. So they'll be looking at both the planning board's version and the county commissioner's version, which is a little bit different than the planning board's. Area plans, of course, we've had the 2 today, but the other one that is out there is the South Central Plan, and the next event is going to be the next community meeting on March 25th at 6 p.m. On that. I think Barry is the liaison for the planning board on that. And then the last thing I want to mention to you is Piedmont Together, and wanted to give this handout to you because as we've talked about before, Piedmont Together is a very important regional strategy for looking at enhancing our prospects in the future for jobs, housing, and connectivity between the two. And its culminating public event is coming up on March 27th, so that's actually 2 weeks from today. It's an all-day program, but it's split up into 3 segments, if you will. There's a morning segment, there's an afternoon segment, and there's an evening segment. And I think they did that because when you think about the Piedmont Triad region, I think we're about 100 miles from one end to the other. And so people coming from quite a distance there to get to it. So for some people, it may work better to come in the morning, some in the afternoon, some in the evening. There's some people that might be interested in hanging around all day. But we're going to have a variety of speakers that come for the different sessions, and one that I particularly wanted to highlight for you because I know you've got your work session coming up in the afternoon, but in the morning, it's going to be very interesting. The mayor of Greenville, South Carolina, Mayor Knox White, is going to be there, and for those of you who know about Greenville, they are an amazing city. We've done a lot of neat things in their downtown area, and they've attracted a lot of business, international business as well. So they've really become a model city. So their mayor is going to be there, going to be introduced by our mayor, and Mayor Vaughn from Greensboro is going to be there. And so Mayor White's going to talk about things like what are the keys to their region there, what are some of the keys that can help spark this region and all that. But there's going to be some presentations made on key aspects to the plan and the ability for people who come to the event to kind of weigh in and give their thoughts on it before the plan gets finalized. So, but you can sign up for any of those that you wish. Of course, the afternoon would be a problem, but there's even an evening session at the Carolina Theater. The day session is being held at the Empire Room in downtown Greensboro. So if you're interested and need some help with registration, let us know.
I think I've already registered, and my only concern is that if you leave and to come back to work session, you're going to miss the equity session, and there's so few plans that address equity in planning. I really think we should all go to this if at all possible, but also I'd registered for the evening session. I don't know if there's any way to move work session, because this is important, and I think all the talks are going to be wonderful, but I don't know if that's something possible, because it's hard when it's, and I may be the only one that's gone, but I really encourage people to go and hear this.
I wanted to do the evening, if not the rest of it.
Yeah,
So.
I'd signed up for the whole day, but I don't know if that's...
Let's see. Well, if you wanted to move the work session, I don't know if Tuesday of that week is any better for you.
That's the same day of the hearing.
Same day of
what?
the, yeah, there will be that meeting for the South Central Plan that evening, starting at 6. I think if we had the work session at 4:30, that might still make it work for you. But the other possibility is move it back a week if you wanted to do anything on April 1st.
As long as you're not... that would be the 3rd, wouldn't it? April? Am I looking?
That'd be the third.
Yeah, it'd be the 3rd, right?
Yeah, Thursday of the next.
Tuesday is the 1st.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the 3rd.
Thursday would be the 3rd, if you wanted to think about then.
People, would you consider April 3rd, a week later?
That's fine with me. That's fine.
No, I'll be
Works
looking
for
for
me.
you there. I'll even drive you.
I might take you up on that, because I get lost every time I go through.
What you got to say in April? I have a potential conflict. It's first I take Building and Grounds Committee, and I don't know if it's going to meet yet or not. It depends on what we've got. So I might have to be late for the meeting on the 3rd, but if the rest of you want to do that, I mean, it's then when they couldn't make it on the 3rd, you cannot.
Right.
Okay. We can record it for you.
Just fine, I can listen to their recording. That's fine.
Is that
Works
is that
for
what
me.
I'm hearing? April 3rd? Is that
April 3rd?
okay with staff?
Yeah, it'd probably be good to make a motion to change it so we can get it officially on the record and then advertise it and all that.
Ms. Mitchell made a motion
Yeah,
to
I
move
made
it to
them,
the
yeah.
3rd. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Younger. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
That's unanimous.
So we will not meet on the
No
27th.
no meeting on the 27th. We'll meet April the 3rd, 4:30.
Okay? And that is it for staff report.
Okay. Anything for the good of the order? Mr. Mulligan?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned. Okay. Thank you.